So, hello everyone. I'm Samarpan Bose, an Indian student living in Germany for more than 2 years now. So, if there's one thing about me that my friends should know is that I'm a big time history buff. And if anybody knows me, they would also know that I'm an ardent follower of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. Just so that you know what I'm flexing right here. This signature, right below the words Jai Hind, is signed by none other than Anita Bose Paf. Yes, I've met the daughter of Netaji right here in Germany. So I'm not an influencer or a YouTuber. The only reason even why I'm making this video is because I feel that we as Indians feel very strongly about certain things yet do nothing about it. I mean, there are more than 2.6 lakhs Indians living in Germany right now. And I have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on Instagram and YouTube teaching us the best life hacks of how to live in Europe as an Indian student or cheapest ways to travel to this country and that country. But I couldn't find a single content or resource that tells me or teaches me about something that relates so close to our national pride and national heritage. Something as big as Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose. So this is where I decided to take things into my own hands. Because as we say, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে So the Indian Legion was formed in Germany in 1941 under the leadership of Netaji and with the prisoners of war of the British Indian Army captured in the North African campaign of the Second World War. The Indian POWs were stationed in a small castle town in Saxony called Annaburg, which is where Netaji started his recruitment efforts for the Indian Legion. If you remember this scene from Alt Balaji's Bose Dead or Alive,
बोस बाबू, हम सब सिपाही हैं, गद्दार नहीं।
मंगल पांडे को क्या कहेंगे आप लोग? वो भी सिपाही थे, गद्दार। ये लड़ाई हमारी नहीं है। हम सब बस एक हथियार है, एक रिवॉल्वर की तरह, जिसका ना कोई मकसद होता है ना मंजिल होती है, बस जिसके हाथ में है वो इस्तेमाल करता है।
मतलब आप चाहते हैं हम हिटलर के लिए लड़े?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं। मैं चाहता हूं कि आप लोग अपने लिए लड़ें, अपनी आजादी के लिए लड़ें। अगर खून बहाना है तो हिंदुस्तान के लिए बहाएं। अगर शहादत हो तो भारत माता के लिए हो, अंग्रेजों के लिए क्यों? मैं यहां आपसे अपने लिए मदद मांगने नहीं आया हूं। हिंदुस्तान जितना मेरा है उतना आप सबका भी है। मैं यहां आपसे हिंदुस्तान की आजादी मांगने आया हूं।
there's a high chance it took place in Annaburg. So I start a thorough search on the internet if there's any relic of the Indian Legion or Netaji still in Annaburg. And guess what? In the website of Start Annaburg, I found a mention to a museum in their town hall which highlights the formation of Free India Legion or Azad Hind. So at this point, I was like, I have to visit this place anyhow. So I wrote a couple of long emails to the museum letting them know of my interest to visit their town. And then I got the reply. The date and time for my visit was fixed, and I was so excited. So, let's go.
ये जिंदगी है कौम की, तो कौम पे लुटाए जा, कदम कदम बढ़ाए जा, खुशी के गीत गाए जा। ये जिंदगी है कौम की, तो कौम पे लुटाए जा।
So I reached Annaburg on a cloudy afternoon. It appeared to be a quiet, peaceful, rustic, and beautiful town. Some chapters of the past were preserved so well. One such example is a century old porcelain factory, which is also a museum today. I even felt like some of the houses were actually looking at me. Then I came across this huge mansion, which is currently a nursing home or a Pflegeheim run by the German Red Cross. Now, this building is also historic. Started off in 1881 as a cadet school, the premises were the main campsite for up to 3,500 Indian prisoners of war till 1945. If you look at some old pictures of the Indian POW campsite in Annaburg, you can clearly see this building in the background. Standing there was such a great feeling, I can't explain. Then I marched ahead to my destination of the day, the Amtshaus Museum, and the visuals gave me goosebumps.
सुभाष जी वो जान हिंद आ गए है नाज जिस पे हिंद को वो शान हिंद आ गए सुभाष जी वो जान हिंद आ गए है नाज जिस पे हिंद को वो शान हिंद आ गए सुभाष जी
I was received by Mr. Thomas Finke, the supervisor of the Amtshaus Museum. He started off by telling me the story of Mr. Volker Kummer, who took this great initiative of reaching out to the former prisoners of war, going all the way to India and doing all his research to set up this museum. Apart from the old pictures, the museum also had written testimonies and eyewitness accounts, and also replicas of the uniforms of the POWs. The stories covered not just Netaji, but also the lives of Indian war prisoners who were at the Annaburg camp. One of the most fascinating collections there were the boxes of the care packages that the Indian prisoners received from the Red Cross. A brief exhibit of how the wardrobe of an Indian soldier would look like back in those days, including their uniform, some casual wear, and some traditional wear like the Pathani suit, and also the foot lockers, which are still widely used by soldiers all over the world. Coming to my favorite part, literature. These books were actually carried by the Indian soldiers all the way to Europe. They were primarily in Hindi, Urdu, English, and Bangla. When I told Mr. Finke that I can read 3 of the 4 languages, all but Urdu, he asked me if I could help him translate the names of the books, their authors, the year they were published in, and a little bit of context. I am so glad I could help him. I was amazed to see the book Gorakh Dhanda, written by Pandit Narayan Prasad Betab, and a Bengali book written by Jyotish Joardar, which I had never heard of before. I think I did a pretty decent job that day. I have never been prouder of my multilingual background. If only I could read Urdu and maybe Deutsch someday. Speaking of which, there also was a dictionary to translate from Deutsch to Hindustani. Let me clarify, Hindustani is basically a mixture of Hindi and Urdu. This was used by the German officers to communicate with the soldiers. Other than literature, the Indian POWs also engaged in cultural activities like theatre in the camp premises. Now, coming to the most important person in the room, him. Would you believe that what I am holding in my hand here is the actual visiting card of Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose? How cool is that? So, all my friends, all my Indian friends who are in Germany or anywhere in Europe, I strongly recommend that you visit this place at least once because you will get to know how strongly our roots are connected here, and there's nothing but a sense of pride that you will feel. So please pay a visit to this place. So I spent some more time at the museum with Mr. Finke, where he showed me some old city maps, some reasoning of how the information that he collected tallied up with information from various sources, and some places where they didn't tally up. And he showed me some really interesting pictures. He even has a message for all of us.
Ja, liebe Gäste, ich hoffe, der kleine Rundgang durch unser Museum und die Impressionen haben euch gefallen. I hope the little walk around and the impressions are good for you and interesting. And I would like to invite you to Annaburg. Please visit us and believe it on your own.
I was so moved by my time at the museum that day that I even donated some Azad Hind stamps from my personal collection to the museum. It felt really good to be able to contribute something.
Thank you very much for this wonderful present for us and for our collection. Thank you.
And thus concluded my visit to the Annaburg Amtshaus Museum. When I was about to leave, Mr. Finke offered me a walking tour of the town to show me some places of historical significance. I must admit, historical significance aside, this small town was so beautiful I could barely take my eyes off it. And the fun part is, the buildings also couldn't take their eyes off me. Mr. Finke showed me the locations of where the barracks once stood. With the help of some pictures, we could visualize how this town would have looked back in the 1940s. And thus concluded my trip to Annaburg. Mr. Finke told me that only a couple of Indians visit this town and the museum once in like 5 years. That isn't surprising, but sad for sure. And for me, I was going back a happy and proud man, with visions of what this town would have witnessed about 80 years ago.
आज ये लड़ाई जो हिंदुस्तान के बाहर शुरू हुई है, कल हिंदुस्तान में लड़ी जाएगी। आजादी लड़कर हासिल होती है, मांग कर नहीं। इस लड़ाई में खून बहेगा, हम सबका खून बहेगा, और उस खून की कीमत होगी आजादी। हिंदुस्तान की आजादी, हमारे देश की आजादी। तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा। आजाद हिंद जिंदाबाद, आजाद हिंद जिंदाबाद, आजाद हिंद
বাণী কখনো মানিনি পারিনি টানতে ব্রিটিশের খানি সমক সমরে এখনো হারিনি ইতিহাস সবে আমারে কাহিনী বোস his actions faster than thought বোস they look for him where he was not